Okay, so the pricing is that the overview video that we do. I mean, we do that just to get through the door. But that being said, we still do create the overview video, and we still are going to put the guy in it. And in some ways, we just ask for a one-time booking fee of $250. And what happens is some people think the overview is a super fucking good deal and think $250 is great, and other guys have been bugged so often and nickel and dime, they go, no, I'm not paying because I don't believe you're actually going to create it and it's going to get distributed. I think you're just going to charge my credit card and then disappear. So you have to kind of gauge that from the customer. But, some guys think it's a great deal and they go, okay, sign me up. So when you're calling there to the jetpack guy, you'd say, hey, yeah, we can come by there, but we're charging a $250 fee just because we've been doing this for 5 years, and you might not be surprised, but we send camera guys to tour companies and they're disorganized and they don't know the camera guy's coming and the shoot doesn't happen, and we pay the camera guy $500 salary to sit in a bar all day and drink on our credit card. So we got smart. So what we do is we say, you give us a $250, and that way the person makes sure that they're taking it seriously, because if it's a free shoot, they don't care. Make sense? Yeah. And so if a guy hassles you, you go, look, this is a fucking killer deal. And for $250 is the best $250 you're going to spend all year. And if you don't want to spend $250, there's another 237 tour companies on TripAdvisor that are more than willing to spend the $250. Right? Yeah. So, so what that does is we can't sell them this video marketing program unless they have a video made. So by going in there and saying we're shooting for the overview, and then what your pitch is what you're saying is that they can use the video, and we'll turn on the video marketing program, and you only got to commit to $189 for 2 months. But at the end of the 2 months, if you like it, then you got to pay the appropriate fees then, which is you got to pay some setup fee for us setting it all up. And if you want to see the list of all the shit that we got to do, and I send this to clients all the time, and they never read it. They just look at the big list and say, okay, those guys. Because, if you have a big, if you have a marketing program, which we do, it does like, I don't know, fucking 27 different things. Well, no surprise, there's a lot of setup involved. So there's a Google Doc right there that shows you the setup. Where am I going to put this? Right here. I think I'm going to put underneath the setup fee right there. And so if you want to see what, yeah, do you see it there, row 9? I mean, I can put it out to the side, but then you won't know. It's basically related to that 399. Do you see? You know what I mean? So that's what. That's what. Yeah, yeah, but no, it's like a taxi. The 189. As soon as the video's online and it's on your site, you're paying $189 a month, right? So you're not waiting. And then from there, if the guy wants a video, doesn't own a video, say the guy gives us his video, that's what the deal is. Now the guy says, no, I don't got a video at all. So therefore, like the guy in San Diego. So then, to make a $3,000 video, I'm going to put that down there. To make a $3,000, rather than paying $3,000 for a video, he's going to pay $399, and he's going to pay $189 a month, and that's a better deal than spending $3 grand. And uh, not really. We own the video. They're renting it from us. Now, we do give it to them and everything, but the point is they obviously don't own it, because just like leasing a car, you don't own the car because you didn't pay the $3 grand. If the guy wants to own it, which some of them will say that, he say, get your checkbook out and I'll give you a deal at $1,500. But you're not going to own a $3,000 video for $189. Now, that being said, Diego, up until a week ago, that me and Jose, we were charging $189 and $499, and that included the video. Yeah. So, but it didn't make sense, because when we're going after guys that already have video already, then what are we supposed to do with them? Sell our marketing program for $99? Well, no, that's too cheap. And with the click to call, that price may be going to $289 soon. That's what I'm looking for as soon as we get some results back. But the point is that so now we've broken it apart. And like I said in the email, if you're going after a small company in Mexico, in some ways he's going to get scared away at those higher prices. But you're not dealing with small companies in Mexico. So you're dealing with fucking the biggest guys on the block, and actually hopefully they're going to look at this and say, "Wow, this is really started the state of the art shit," and they're going to look good to their bosses because they brought this state of the art program in. Right. So at the end of the day, the guys pay him. So most of the guys that we go after, they need a couple of videos and then they need the overview. So basically, at the end of the day, I can put in your sample pricing. So if the guy's got one video and he wants both programs, it's going to be $369 a month, right? Well, I said if they want one video and the video marketing program, then it's going to be. Let me just get this formula working here. Is that working now? It's going to be. Let me just do this. Okay. So it's going to be 189 times two, right? It's going to be this. Uh, yeah, and then 369. What the fucking thing doing? What is that? That's DC15. C 20. No. Anyway, it's 189 times twice, so it's about what is that? 380. 80. There we go. And but that being said, you're still there, right? You just muted the mic. It doesn't matter if the yeah, but you don't have to. It's all right for me. Yeah, I don't care if the kids are playing. So let me get these braces. So, but that being said, Diego, it's yeah, we got Deborah working for next to nothing, right? Do you follow me? So, if we don't get these rates, we get half of these rates. That's fine. It's just at this point we need to get some reoccurring revenue for you. So you've got a base. So if we do a bunch of cheap deals in Cancun because Deb's about to blow out of there in 14 days, I'm not losing sleep at all. If you got this deal done at $99 a month and $250 setup fee, that's a success. You know, but you don't really have to worry. Obviously, you're trying to figure out what is the pricing because you have to call these guys and everything. But the point is I'll be responsible for actually closing them. But obviously, we want to get you to the point where you can close, and you have to understand the pricing. Yeah, and to tell you the truth, the pricing's kind of fluid. It's I'm doubling the price and crossing my fingers. And in the U.S., it really comes down to if you got a slick media kit and you got a couple of case studies and you got a couple of guys that these guys can phone and verify it, we could do these numbers even higher. And that's what we're trying to get to. And we have the three guys that are in being set up right now, and they're going to be able to phone and get email these guys and say, "Is this program for real? And did you really make 10 grand from this program last month?" And they're going to say yes. So you just have to hang in there until we get that. Because if your program really works, yes, you have a nice media kit, but you have case studies on certain clients. Here's Awesome Adventures in Las Vegas. Here's such and such in Miami. And because if you have a successful program, obviously you've got clients that have a success on it, and you show them to it. And if you're not showing that, then you don't got something that works, and they know that. Well, that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? And the thing, we're gonna be able to track how many phone calls that people get, and all we got to do is do that report, and away we go. And so, but that's the structure of how we charge. As for how much those numbers are in these boxes, that depends if if we're just super desperate because we got Deb leaving in 14 days, and we gotta if we got no shoots on the books, then obviously you do whatever it takes. You phone up a guy, like I got my buddy in Vegas, my camera guy in Vegas. He's going through Vegas for 2 days. I gotta get on the phone and get him shoots. Well, at that point, I'm just calling the guy and saying I'm putting a camera guy on your bus. I got no time to. So that has a big impact, and that's why this Cancun thing is kind of good to kind of make you work under pressure, But once Deb gets over to Europe, we'll be very, very organized, and we'll have a proper amount of time to sell each market. And Deb, we're not paying for her to house her when we need a break. So she goes back to Stockholm, hangs out with her buddy, chills out. We get the next market totally organized, all done out, and then she goes out the door and lays it all down. But the only thing is that once you get in the market, it's a little organized chaos because the tour buses are breaking down and the weather changes, and then you find some other clients that need to be shot. And that's one key thing that Deb is very good at is she is in market, and she's like a private investigator, and she goes out there and finds other tour companies, and she can see from our sheet who we have. But she's kind of busy, so she just sends you an email and says, here's 10 leads, and you go through them and go, oh shit, 6 of these that we didn't have. And then but you got to move on those moves. You got to move on those leads very quickly because you have to think about it. She's in that market. Do you follow me? So you got to jump on those first, close them, sell them, and hopefully book them at the end of Deb's stay, so we don't have to go all the way back there again. Yeah, because we are under a little bit of pressure because we're going to try and do all of Europe in 2.5 months, and we're going to start in the north because as it gets colder, we can't shoot in the north. So she's up in the north, which is good in Stockholm, and then we work. So we're not shooting Spain now. We wait to shoot Spain in November when it's when the weather's good. Yeah, but you get my point. You start north and you work your way down. So when you say to me, Paul, what city are we selling first? You sell all the cities in the north, like London, and the big markets over there. Just so you know, Rome is 500 tours, and we have a camera guy there, and I haven't figured out if it's better to. I mean, he costs. Nah, it doesn't cost that much money. It costs $200 for a shoot, which is 200 euros, I think, or something, which is totally reasonable. So in some ways, we should just leave Rome up to him, and he'll know Rome and everything like that. And because Deb's got enough, like London's got 300 tours, Paris has got 300 tours, and we got 2.5 months. So, that's kind of the lowdown. And over in Europe, we got to convert this to euros, and but it's not a big thing. I mean, the euros, I think it's like $99 for $189, so it seems kind of cheaper. But all you need to do is you're Diego, you're an associate producer, you are in the division that makes overview videos. And for you to dispense one of your highly trained camera people with everything else, you need a booking fee, and it could be 199. You know what I mean? If maybe call it 199. Well, he's just getting in the overview video, right? So he gets like 10 seconds in the overview video. So he thinks he's getting a video. He's not, you know what I mean? He doesn't get used to the video. You get 10 seconds in the overview video. Well, true, and he's got to then pay 189 a month, no setup fee at the beginning, but at the end of the 60 days, if he wants to stay on the program, then he's got to pay the 399. So we'll hold off on the setup fee so we don't blow him out of the water. Do you follow me? To the end of the trial, and then at the end of the trial. Yeah, so here's how it happens. You say, "Look, buddy, it's 199, and I will send a camera guy." And the 199 doesn't even cover our cost. It costs us about $1,500 all in to send a guy out to your place. The $199 just proves to us that you're not going to stand our camera guy up, right? Okay. And then after that, we edit up the video. We'll show you the 10 seconds. We'll make a 90-second video as well, okay, for your website. Yeah. And then once it's loaded on their website, they pay $189 a month for as many months as they want. After the 60 days, if they say, okay, we want to stay on the program, then they got to pay that setup fee of $399. And realistically, they would then have to pay that fee as well because they haven't paid for the video yet. Well, no, at the end of the 60-day trial, do you see what I mean? It would. Yeah, but no, but theoretically, we should map this out. We could talk about this tomorrow because it gets kind of complicated. But what I'm saying is no. What happens at the end of the 60-day trial? He's got to pay the 189 for the marketing. Then he's got to pay for the video. So it's another 189 a month, and forget it. Maybe forget about the 399 there. You know what I mean? Well, no, the second 399. Because look, there's another setup fee right where my cursor is. There's another setup fee. You know, but maybe we can waive